Hello and hello. Thank you so much for joining me today, especially Friedrich Merz. I know you're watching. Unprecedented military aid. Friedrich Merz. Yeah, you. $500 billion plan, Euro plan, I should say, to secure Europe. As I've said many times before, this is not a political channel. I don't really do politics, okay? But nevertheless, this just feels very important. This whole thing, everything feels very important right now. It feels like there's a bit of a shift, a new world order, if you will. A shift in the balances of power potentially taking place. Oh, I got a cramp. I think someone just shocked me through the microchip in my arm. I said something I shouldn't have said. Anyway, UATV English, check them out, link down below, especially if you speak English. Anyway, this is like, I know you guys, a lot of you guys have, a lot of different kind of views about Friedrich Merz and everything, and technically he's not even the chancellor yet, so who cares about him? No, it's important, and I do think this is an interesting, I've just seen headlines like this, that he's planning to scale up military defense spending a lot and stuff like that. So I'm fascinated by it. Let's do it.
Ukraine highly appreciates Germany's effort.
He's tall. Can I say that? I just did. Now, the important things. How tall is he? Does anybody know? 6'6". Damn.
To restore European security, said President Volodymyr Zelenskyy following a phone call with Friedrich Merz, leader of the Christian Democratic Union and Christian Social Union Party and candidate for the position of Chancellor of Germany. This was their first conversation after the conservative bloc's victory in the Bundestag elections. However, President Zelenskyy had previously met with Merz after the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine. Friedrich Merz visited Kyiv twice.
We coordinated our positions. Ukraine highly values Germany's efforts to restore European security and protect lives in our country. We remember that Germany is the leader in supplying air defense systems to Ukraine and plays a crucial role in ensuring our financial stability.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Agreed with Friedrich Merz on further cooperation and contacts, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the president of Ukraine, on X social network.
The Christian
Twitter.
Democratic Union and Christian Social Union Party of Friedrich Merz and the Social Democratic Party of Germany have agreed on a major credit package to finance defense and infrastructure. Merz announced the creation of a special fund worth 500 billion euros, describing it as an unprecedented investment. He emphasized that Europe and Germany must make significant efforts to strengthen defense capabilities.
The necessary decisions regarding the federal budget cannot be postponed. Therefore, next week, the parliamentary groups of the CDU, CSU, and SPD will submit a motion to the Bundestag to amend the basic law, allowing for defense spending beyond 1% of gross domestic product.
I need him to shave this off because it's distracting. I'm just straight up. I have to go back 5 seconds because I'm just distracted. Let's continue. Sorry.
Of the CDU, CSU, and SPD will submit a motion to the Bundestag to amend the basic law, allowing for defense spending beyond 1% of gross domestic product to be exempt from the debt brake. We aim to set up a credit-financed emergency program, a special fund of 500 billion euros for the next 10 years.
As reported by Spiegel, this is the first major breakthrough among political forces ahead of coalition negotiations. Minister of Defense of Germany Boris Pistorius called the decision a historic day for the Bundeswehr and for Germany. He believes these measures will not only modernize the army, but also strengthen the country's economy.
We are strengthening the economy and ensuring that the states also have more leeway in their tasks. We are sending a strong signal to the people in our country and to our allies. A corresponding resolution by the Bundestag would enable Germany and others to take on a leading role in strengthening NATO in Europe. Boris Pistorius, Minister of Defense of Germany, in an
I really don't like these AI voices.
interview with Spiegel.
On March 5th, the Minister of Defense of Germany announced that arms transfers to Ukraine had reached their limits. At the same time, spokesman for the Federal Ministry of Defense, Michael Stempfler, emphasized that military support for Ukraine and strengthening Germany's defense capabilities must be addressed simultaneously. Berlin plans to unlock over 3 billion euros to support Ukraine. This aid had been planned for 2024 but was postponed. According to Friedrich Merz, he is in talks with ongoing Chancellor Olaf Scholz to resolve the issue of additional military aid to Kyiv soon.
Olaf Scholz's cautious policy has led to Germany fading into the background, even though Germany's military aid to Ukraine ranks second after the United States. Merz's task is to truly enhance Germany's reputation within the European Union and in foreign policy.
Minister for Foreign Affairs of Germany, Annalena Baerbock, also demands the immediate unlocking of further aid for Ukraine. Moreover, she believes that at an emergency summit, EU partners should agree on a comprehensive financial package for Ukraine, and the European Council should make a decision on large-scale investments in EU defense. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Kristina Dombrovska, UATV News.
I saw that a big issue right now, at least according to some headline I saw, was recruiting in Germany for the military, which was an interesting thing I hadn't considered. You know, how much money you invest in your military it's kind of constrained by how many people are willing to even serve in the military, to an extent.
The European Commission has introduced a comprehensive plan for rearming the EU and supporting Ukraine with 800 billion euros. The
800 billion, damn.
document includes 5 key initiatives. The first step is the release of state funds to finance the defence industry at the national level. According to President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, this will allow EU member states to increase defence spending without triggering the excessive deficit procedure and will free up to 650 billion euros over 4 years. The second step involves the creation of a new financial instrument that will provide EU member states with 150 billion
war bonds
euros in loans for defence investments. These funds will be used for the procurement of air defence systems, artillery systems, missiles, ammunition, drones, and anti-drone systems. This equipment could be quickly delivered to Kiev, emphasised the President of the European Commission. The third initiative will enable EU countries to use funds to increase defence spending. The fourth and fifth points of the plan focus on
I'm very entertained just watching the manufacturing of these warheads and stuff in the background. Is this happening in Germany? I would be terrified to work in that factory. Genuinely terrified.
Private capital, expanding the investment market, and using mechanisms of the European Investment Bank.
Europe is ready to assume its responsibilities. Rearm Europe could mobilize close to 800 billion euros of defense expenditures for a safe and resilient Europe. We will, of course, continue working closely with our partners in NATO.
I mean, I'm just thinking about what I said yesterday about how I find it interesting how, like, this is kind of what Trump wants, right? Like, Europe to pay more and to raise their defense spending. But on the other hand, I'm like, is Trump sure this is what he should want? Like, because Trump wants America to remain the dominant world power, obviously. And our military is a big reason for that. So why is he trying to have Europe become like the new superpower of the world? Not to mention the other factor of the USD being the reserve currency of the world, which seems to me to be under major threat right now. Major threat. Anyway. Which I just find interesting because those are, you know, Trump wants those things. And it's like, it feels like he's working against his own interests. You know, a lot of people think Trump's interests are very, selfish. And, but even in those selfish interests, it seems like his strategies might backfire. Then again, I'm a YouTuber in Indiana, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know.
closely with our partners in NATO. This is a moment for Europe, and we are ready to step up.
EU leaders are planning to discuss European defence issues.
I kind of looked like Friedrich Merz with the
We
camera.
are ready to step up.
I thought this was him. No, not really. He's got too much hair.
EU leaders are planning to discuss European defence issues at an extraordinary summit on March 6th. According to Financial Times, one of the main topics of the meeting is the initiative to create a European rearmament bank, or a special fund for pan-European defence sector financing. Its primary goal will be to provide loans for military equipment purchases and fund industrial defence projects. The initiative is expected to involve the United Kingdom as well.
Мы видим, что европейцы
We see that Europeans understand that as long as Ukraine can endure, it means time gained for France, for Europe, to deploy a new system with more finances, more weapons. Protecting Ukraine also means protecting themselves and reducing the risks of an attack from the Kremlin.
The French president has urged EU countries to invest 200 billion euros in the continent's defence. In an interview with Il Folio, he clarified that this amount will be needed at the initial stage. Emmanuel Macron also stated that EU member states should aim to increase defence spending to 3 to 3.5% of gross domestic product.
Ukraine has shown that it can survive.
That's a lot.
That it will be.
What is the NATO target? Is it 2 or 3%? I think it's 3. Um, 2%. All right.
Willing to fight, willing to defend its existence, because this is about Russia wanting to wipe Ukraine off the map, but it is also about Russia wanting to wipe the current European security order off the map. So we will have to collectively defend Ukraine, help Ukraine even more than we have done before.
Europe must not only increase support for Ukraine, but also tighten economic pressure on the aggressor state, say Kyiv's partners. This could also be part of Ukraine's security.
It's crazy, but when she said the aggressor's state, I almost thought she was talking about America, which is pretty sad. Okay, it's pretty sad that I was like, wait, America or Russia?
Economic pressure on the aggressor state, say Kyiv's partners.
Oh, boy.
This could also be part of Ukraine's security guarantees. According to Financial Times, discussions have already begun within the EU about the possible confiscation of frozen Russian assets in Europe if Moscow violates a future ceasefire agreement with Ukraine.
I wonder what kind of implications that would have if you guys confiscated Russian assets that are frozen. It's interesting to think about.
Ukraine. Reported by Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.
Let's read some comments. The fun part. Thank you, Germany. Thank you, Germany. Thank you. Sorry. Slava Ukraine. God bless Ukraine and its people from tyranny. Thank you, Merz, for your leadership. Wow, these are all very positive. A move in the right direction. We are running behind, so you'll need to work double time. Do it. Do it now. Wow. A strong Europe prepares itself for all eventualities. No place for more 3-day surprises. Slava Deutschland. This has me crying my heart out with tears of joy for Ukraine. I am American and I am ashamed of my weak president. I hope Ukraine can fight on. Wow, 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 wow. Interesting. I know a lot of people, a lot of you guys, at least from what I've seen, aren't big fans of Friedrich Merz. But at least in this here comment section, everybody is very united. Strange to see as an American. A nation united. Anyway, I like to stay on top of all this. So thank you for watching. And I'm sorry if I said anything stupid. I have no credentials. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.